Hello, this is Armonia dress sewing pattern for girls and toddlers by Briosa Patterns. The upper part of the dress is made for knit fabrics like jersey and French terry. The bottom part is made for woven fabrics like cotton, and it can be made with or without hem ruffles. Sleeve options are basic long and short sleeve and MONGOLFIERA ruffled sleeve. The neckline options are neckband, keyhole and lace binding, and turtleneck. Open the Armonia file with Adobe Acrobat. In this file, you will find all the information that you need for this project. Scroll down to the pattern pieces and select the size or sizes that you need. Set your printer to 100%. Print only the first page and check the square if you printed correctly. Proceed with assembling the pages by following the big numbers and the small numbers in the circles. Here you will find the bodice, the basic sleeve, the neck binding, the neckband. The cutting charts for the skirt, the ruffles and the turtleneck you will find inside the file. Now place the pattern pieces on the fabric. Cut the keyhole only if you're stitching the lace neck binding option. Cut the lace neck binding on fold. Mark the center and the keyhole notches. Now press the keyhole binding with your steam iron, as you see here in the video. The right side is facing downward. Do the same with the lace neck binding. Place the keyhole binding on the wrong side of the keyhole. Stitch inside the crease and match the center of the binding with the center of the keyhole. Stitch through the end. Now fold the crease of the binding. On the right side, pin and baste, covering the stitching that you made by 1 mm. In this way, the wrong side will be nicely finished too. Now stitch near the edge. On the right side, I am using this scrap piece of fabric to balance the presser foot. And here is the result. Now place the center of the lace binding on the center front, right side of the binding and wrong side of the bodice. Match the keyhole notches on the binding, on the keyhole endings of the bodice, and start stitching inside the crease, starting from one keyhole ending. Stitch through the other keyhole ending, pull the binding slightly, what is needed, and keep stitching inside the crease. Back stitch on the keyhole, fold the crease, pin and baste on the right side, covering the stitching with the crease by 1 or 2 mm. Stitch the endings of the lace binding. You can also skip this part because knit fabrics don't fray. Now start stitching on one ending. While stitching, fold the crease with your fingers. You can also prepare this by pinning all around. Stitch near the edge. And finish on the other end. And here is the result. Open MONGOLFIERA sleeve pattern file and proceed with printing and assembling like you did with the dress. You will need 2 mirrored pieces. Place the pattern piece on the fabric. Cut and mark the shoulder seam notch. The upper part will be gathered and then it will be sewn as a dart. Now we're going to mark with a chalk or erasable pen. To do that, first we need to cut along the markings. Keep the part that you cut for the future projects. Now place the pattern piece correctly and mark. We are marking on the wrong side. Now gather the upper part by stitching into the marking that you made. We are doing the stitching on the wrong side, where the markings are. Now join the 2 parts, right sides touching, and pin on the gathered part. To do this correctly, the pins should be right inside the line on the other part. In this way, the stitching will be perfect. Now stitch inside the gathering stitch and proceed like you were sewing a dart. Finishing on the apex with a back stitch. Check the result on the right side. Now finish with your overlocker. And repeat this process with the other sleeve. Here you need to start from the apex and again stitch it like a dart. This cut on the sleeve goes on the front. Now pin the sleeves on the dress and matching the shoulder seam and the notch. Stitch the sleeve on the dress, starting from the one sleeve edge and finishing on the other. Repeat on the other sleeve. Now close the side seams and hem the sleeve bottoms. Finish the row edges of the skirt parts. Now stitch the side seams, right sides touching. Press the stitching with your steam iron. Now gather the upper part of the skirt, starting 1 inch, 2 centimeters and a half from the edge. Now pin the skirt to the bodice, right side starching. Match the centers and the stitchings. Keep the gathered part on top and stitch inside the gathering stitch. Finish the raw edge of the stitching. Join the 4 pieces of the ruffle, but leave 1 seam open. Press the ruffle in half, wrong sides inside. Gather the ruffle all around and pin it on the skirt, right side starching. Now that you have pinned the ruffle all around, you can close the last seam of the ruffle. Cut away the excess if there is any. Now pin the last part and stitch the ruffle all around. Finish the raw edge and top stitch all around the skirt. In order to get the dress more fitted on the waistline, the elastic. Close the edges of the elastic. Mark the centers and the quarters. Pin the elastic on the stitching, on the bodice part, so you can top stitch it on the bodice if you wish later. Match the centers and the quarters on the dress stitching on the dress. Start stitching and then pull what is needed.